All right, so I'm on live right now, Rita. Rita, we're live. So I'm doing this right now because I was asked by somebody to put little Rita, and so we got little Rita out here, who was the president of the Lady Gents back in 1978 to like 84. So Rita, share a little history with us about your experience in Chicago, growing up in Chicago in West Town, and about the gang experience, and where you're at now.
Oh well, I grew up over by Blackhawk and Ashland, where I actually started from. And then when I decided to move up to Thomas and Ashland, a lot of the boys followed me, which were a lot of gents. And not only that, they were Latino stars before that, and some came from different gangs. But they used to hang around with me all the time, so we just took over the street there on Thomas and Ashland. And I tell you, compared to from now to back then, it's a big difference in gangs. I mean, at least I can say that the gangs back then protected their neighborhoods, protected the people in the neighborhood and took care of the kids. And, they had a lot of laws that, they had to follow. Now today, it's a big difference. It's like these kids, these gang members don't have no respect towards their family, to their women, to their neighborhood. It's a shame, that it's come to that. And I can say it happened. It started back like you can say maybe like in the mid 80s when the government thought that they would swipe off all the main heads to the gangs. All they did was have everybody go renegade.
Yeah, so by them putting the heads, everybody went renegade and everything went crazy. I mean, it seems like, me and you grew up in the same area. We know each other from all that time. And when I first got there, you were the first one I met because you were on security on Bosworth that day. You had the pistol. The second one, Oreo was there. And then Shorty, Jose, he's deceased now, so I can say his name, Jose Torres, which was known as Shorty. He was one of our guys too, you know?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You know what? I tell you, back then, I mean, for the female that I was, I, I was worse than probably some of the guys that were around because I've never ran on them.
Joshua the Righteous, go ahead. Somebody is commenting. They say I'm old, bro. Go ahead.
I respected them as well as they respected. They were just you know outgoing despite of what we were. The choices we made in life. We weren't out there hurting people. Innocent people. We were out there gang banging amongst each other against our oppositions. Protecting ours. We weren't out there doing what we weren't supposed to be doing. Like,
so, G?
On today.
Yeah. So I want people to really know who you are. Give us a real short description of when you grew up in West Town and how you end up gang banging and all this other stuff right quick up to the time you got locked up in Mexico. Real quick.
Okay, well, at the age of 13, I got kicked out of home. I left. I made that choice to go ahead and leave because I didn't want to grow up too fast. But you know what? I had no choice but to grow up in the streets. I knew nothing but survival. That was a part of survival for me. I was 13 years old, probably the youngest one there. But I'll tell you this much. You know what? Everybody looked at me as an older person because how I carried myself. And today, everybody thought that I'd be gone. I'd be dead because I've had contracts out on me. I've had hits out. And you know what? I'm still here. The problem is that, you know what? I'm here for a reason. I don't know what it is. I really don't know what it is. For my whole life, I did a 360. I got my college degrees. I have my home. And I take care of my grandkids. At the same time, I still watch over my kids. No matter what, I protect them to the fullest.
Duke Real Raul. Somebody named Duke Raul 78 said they really appreciate what you're saying, Rita. So now you're doing good now. I know that because you're taking care of. You got your own place. You got your mom with you. She got sick. You got your grandkids with you. You're raising them. You work 2 jobs. And so give these moms out there a little. The young moms that are out there, because right now there's a situation in Holstein Park where one of my guys, he's working there, and there's a little group of kids that are Spanish vice lords, but they're learning the bad stuff from their parents that are like 30 years old. Their parents are scandalous. Coming over to starting, they even threaten to come and shoot the place up. Gang representation. This is the parents.
Oh
What
wow,
would you tell those people, those moms,
you
about
know what I could tell them, mom, hey, by law, those are your kids. And to the age of 17, 18 years old, baby, you got to do what you got to do to protect them and to keep them away from that shit. Because if anything, I hear some people and some parents talk about, yeah, you know what, the kids only follow their parents. Hell no, not in mine, because I was hard in mine. My son could not gangbang. My son could not do none of that because I was very observant on everything he did, who his friends were. And you know what? You got to put them
Spanish
first.
lords? Okay, go ahead, because someone's saying they corrected me. I had thought they were Spanish. I was told they were Spanish vice lords, but these are Spanish lords now. So go ahead, they're our own people.
Yeah, I mean, hey, sometimes you got to break that trend, man. You know what? You got to remember where you came from. You got to remember the lifestyle you live. And that's not what you want for your kids. You don't want your kids to be out there disrespecting. You don't want your kids out there to lose their life. You don't want to be the one to be on TV talking about I lost my child to a shooting. You don't want to lose your child to none of that. And you know what? So what if you were a gang member? You can change, and you can help your kids. Nobody can say you can't do it, because let me tell you something. I mean, I've come a long way, and I'm sure other people have come a long way too. But you can't give up on your kids. You can't. You know what? Because if anything, you're the parents.
Yeah. So, like I was saying, okay, so I wanted to touch bases on the fact that you also suffered consequences going to jail. Could you talk about that a little bit and let us know about that?
Oh man. Well, part of survival took me to slinging. That was how I was making my money too. And I had that street up on Erie and Ashland. I had a lot of spots over there, uh, all over. A lot of people know me. And you know what? I ended up taking a trip to Mexico, and I got caught up in Mexico. I was given an 11-year sentence, but because I'm an American citizen, the American consul fought for me, to bring me back over here. It took me 10 years to get here to the States, and I knew even back then, in my mid-20s, I knew back then that I still was not ready to live that life, because I thought nobody would hire me. I thought I couldn't get a good job because of my record or anything. But you know what? I didn't give up. I didn't give up. I did run on feds, and when I got caught up, like the judge told me, hey, since you kept out of trouble while you were on the run, I give you a choice. You're looking at 6 months to 18 months. What do you want? I said, shit, 6 months. And he gave it to me, and guess what? I got off parole, and I started having to make a change in my life, because you know what? I wasn't doing harm to myself. I was doing harm to everybody else around me also. Those that stood by me, which was my father, rest in peace, Benny Melendez, and he was my stepdad. But you know what? He raised me. That was my dad.
Did your actual dad, did your blood dad die, Rita?
No, actually, my blood dad is still alive. And, I've had contact with him once in a while. I'll talk to him because I have no anger, no hatred towards him, due to the fact that the problems was between him and my mom.
Right.
And as a grown person, you learn to grow. When you grow up, and you learn to forgive, because that's the only way that you can go on with life. I've been through so much shit, man. So much shit, but I'll tell you one thing. I will forgive you. I'll smile in your face. And you know what? I just know how much to leave the door open, how much trust to leave the door open. But you know what? I can't be a person to hold hatred and talk about people or any of that, because you know what? I mean, who am I to judge when the lifestyle that I've lived? And you know what? I didn't choose that life. That life chose me. You know, it was a part of survival. That's why I say, you know what? People say, oh, they can't get out, they can't do anything, they can't change their life. No, baby, I'm living proof. You can change your life, and you can make it better, and never look over your shoulder.
Now, Rita, when you got caught up in Mexico, they did an exchange with you, and you went to Texas, and that's when you went on the run on them. But I want to ask you specific, because this is important to let people know. Somebody may try to pull this stunt and end up over there, a female or something. Uh, Tell us the name of where you were at, the name of the prison, and your experience in there, because you talked to me about this, and this was a mind blower. Because all those years that after with me and you, because me and Rita used to take care of business. Let's put it that way. Me and her with the gang banging with the guns. Yeah, nobody got killed, so I can't say nothing about that. Is nothing to hide. Me and Rita was the only one that I would trust more than anybody except Oreo. That was it to take care of business, and that's only when somebody came at us like they did to me. Now, tell us about that experience in Mexico.
Well, shit, when I went out, when I got caught up in Mexico, I ended up at the Penal de la Loma. The Penal de la Loma is, you thought you only see shit on TV, but you know what? In real life, it's the guys and girls on one side, guys on the other. We were able to cross over to the other side, kick it with the guys. I was able to go out. Sometimes the comandante used to come and get us, and talk about, hey, we're going out. I used to go out to the ranches, to barbecues, have guns in my hand, and everything. I've been in motins over there. A motin is riots, plenty of riots. I mean, I was at one time, because of the riots, and I was involved. They were ready to send me to the Islas Marias, and the Islas Marias is not pretty. The Islas Marias is you're surrounded by nothing but water and alligators. Okay, there's no going out of there. Okay, but because, like I said, I'm an American citizen. The consulate fought for me and said no, she can't move. But I tell you one thing: when we did move, because they were closing down the Penal de la Loma, and we were getting sent out to another prison. We got sent out like dogs, literally. We changed around our necks, our legs, and in little trucks that all we could do was just bend down and practically almost towards our knees, all the way to the place that we got to, okay, which was called the Cerezo. That's the new prison over there in Laredo, in Nuevo Laredo, okay, on the other side. But I'm telling you, in the riots, I've seen a guy get stabbed in his neck, blood just gushing out while we were playing. We were playing cards at the time when that happened. I mean, I've seen the hangings. It's nothing glorifying about it, because if you don't know how to take care of yourself, man, it would have been one. But the only thing that helped me out through is having my own apartment up in there, due to the fact that, at least they looked out for me, because I ain't never tricked. I ain't never said anything. I kept my mouth shut that whole time that I was there. I did my time, but I'm telling you, people think that it's easy in a Mexican prison. Yeah, it may be easy, but like I'm telling you, if you don't know how to take care of yourself, baby, it's been one, okay? Because there's a lot of shit that happens over there, and shit that you don't expect that are happening in your face. And what it is money talks. Money talks. You got that money to move around in there, do what you want, then you can do it. But if not, man, you live the life like you were homeless. Okay, I've seen people over there. They got kids in there, animals. I mean,
It's not a regular prison then.
No, it's not. It's like a ciudad closed in.
A
Like that.
city.
Yes, a little city closed in. It's closed in, and I mean they separate. People like the pesados. Longoria.
Who
You
are
know
the
what I mean?
pesados and the lagorias in English?
Okay, the pesados are the heavy ones, the heavy duties. These are the guys that got busted with the big cartels. Okay, whether it was firearms or drugs, they had their own section. You had the killers up on the second floor. You had in Planta Baja was the lower one, which those are the people that actually slept on floors. You would have maybe 6 to 7 in maybe one cell, and a lot of them slept on floors. They couldn't afford to be in a cell. They were sleeping in the hallways. You would just see so much in there. It's a big difference. You had stores in there. You had like restaurants.
Money?
Yeah, money talks. You had your own money. You had drugs. You had liquor.
Guns?
Baby, you know how many times I've had a guy drunk in my room and took the gun from him and would do some stupid shit to him, like shave his eyebrows and do just stupid shit. You know? I mean, things that if it wasn't for my ex brother in law to be in there with me, I probably would have escaped. I would have been on the run. But to tell you the truth, he was the only thing holding me back because I didn't want him to do any more time for me or anything.
If
Just
you would
because
escape, they would have punished him.
Huh?
You could have escaped. They would have punished him though.
Oh yeah, yeah. I could have escaped. Believe me, plenty of times. I've been out on the ranch with the director. You know, which is what they call the warden over here. You can't be a warden in Mexico more than a year. You know why? Because the prisons in Mexico are so corrupt, and because everything runs in there by money. He can only collect like so much amount. Okay, so they can't be directors more than a year in the Mexican prisons.
They make too much money.
Yep, out of all the corruption that goes on in there.
Could imagine.
Oh yeah,
So now also you seen a lot of killings in there, didn't you?
I've seen one too many, but it kills me to say that I've become numb to it due to the fact that, I mean, when you see so much, and I've had one of the boys die in my arms, back in the years too. That shooting was for me, but he pushed me out of the way, and he passed. I'll never forget that night because I was tattooing the guys that night too. You know, you see so much that blood doesn't even phase you anymore. Blood doesn't affect you. There could be a shooting right next to me, and I would not budge. I would not flinch. It's sad to say that, you know, sometimes we don't want our kids exposed to this, but in reality, I have to like let them know, hey, this is going on in the streets. This, I let them know about gangs. I let them know about drugs. I let them know about, certain things are going on. Don't be nosy. Put your head down. I'm gonna get you out of there. Things like that. That you have to teach because of the safety. You worry about, the people that you love around you. You don't want nothing to happen to them. I mean, but like I say, it's you become to be very protecting. Doing Uber as I do now, I see so much shit in the street. It's pathetic. It's pathetic. People tell me, "Ain't you afraid of doing Uber?" No, I'm not. I'm not afraid of doing Uber. If I survive the streets this long, hey, I the guy, it's not my time yet. It's not my time, and I got a long life to live.
Yup. Yup. Yup.
I got a
Okay.
long life to live.
So now basically I want to wrap it up, but I want to you tell me tell these young mothers and everybody else how you dealt when you put yourself up straight and you got yourself up there, started working. I remember I ran into you a couple times when you were working. And then I didn't see you for a long time because I was fucking up. I was in the penitentiary, in and out, and I got out. You know my story, I told you. But
Yes.
I How did you manage to keep your kids away from gangs and your grandkids too? Because you take care of your grandkids.
Oh, you know what? With my kids, I just, you know what? I'm old school, okay? And when I was younger, I remember once them lights go out, baby, that means you get your ass in the house, okay? And just that's just the way I raised my kids. That you know what, after dark, unless if you want to go out, I'll drop you off, I'll pick you up. I want to know if there's going to be an adult in present, you know. And now the teenage years was a little different. They gave me a hard time, but I was on it. I was real hard on it. You know, my son, he actually, you know, thought I was too hard on him. And once he told me, he asked me one day, hey, Mom, do you think you can buy me a pair of red gym shoes? Man, I did the whole exorcist on his ass because I turned around and I looked and I said, what? Oh, no, bro. You know what I did? I looked for options. I found a program called Lincoln's Challenge. Send my son away over there before he got any record or anything. And then after that, Job Corps. And you know what? My son is doing good now. You know, he's old enough to make decisions or whatever. But you know what? Like he said, yeah, I was hard, but he didn't know why. He realizes it now that I loved him. And I still love him. I don't want nothing to happen to him. My girls were something else. You know, unfortunately, they ended up with gang members. You know, but like I tell them, and I used to tell the guys, if anything happens to my girls, we're going to have a problem. So they always at least protected the girls. Now, I tell you one thing, I mean, the girls, thank God they never thought about gang banging. They never even tried it or anything. I just, now as they got older, they tell me, you know, Mom, thank you. Thank you for being real hard on me. Thank you for always, you know, back then we didn't know why. And we used to get upset and you were our enemy at that time or whatever. And I told them, that's okay. I wasn't put on this earth for nobody to love me. I was put on earth for my kids to hate me. And that's only to protect. But now you see why. And it goes on in generations now because it's instilled in them about taking care of their kids.
Yeah, so well, you know, it's been a long time, and we got in contact a couple months ago, and you know that I couldn't get a hold of you because it shook me. Because all those years from the last time I seen you, which was what, 93, I believe, it was right after we took care of business with Tocino. As a matter of fact, I told you, dude turned out to be my cousin. Bandit,
Yeah.
the chief that we went at, the one that tried to fuck me up, and you came and backed me up. That was my cousin. I met him late years later. Fuck. He remembered that we were talking about it. He remembered you. He said you were wild. He said he thought he was finished. He said he don't know how he managed, but I know he did some kind of moves, matrix stuff. He said all he felt was the bullets passing right by his face and everything.
Yeah. I know the feeling, believe me. Plenty
Yeah.
of times I've shot at, I've been stabbed in the hand, you know, and as a lot of people know, you know, unfortunately, you know, back in the years, I beat out a case, you know, that was for attempted murder.
Yeah.
And then due to the fact, I don't care about talking about it because you know what? I mean, back then, that's what it led me to, you know, and protecting myself and whatnot. And this guy, you know, which was a Viking, as a matter of fact, back in them years, and we used to go to school.
Who is it? Name him.
His name was Thomas McCaffrey.
Thomas McCafflin.
Big white boy. Big white boy. And sometimes I want to look for him because, like they said, the judge told me if he ever were to die from that bullet, because it's still inside of him, if he were to ever die for it, I can go away for murder. If that's the cause of his death, because they could never take the bullet out.
Well, you know what? I do know a case like that with I know a case like that where the Carrillos, there were two brothers that I met. I used to go out with their sister, and they were from the south side, Latin souls, and they shot somebody, 10 murder, a lady, and then 5 or 6 years later, she died. They tried to give him the murder, but it didn't. They couldn't stick it to him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't trust it, but I'm.
So tell us about this Thomas McCafflin, because I think I know. Was that Bubba?
I don't know what they called him as a nickname because I remember him only from school. He had got in my way and said, got brave, and I ended up because I mean, as short as I am, as little as I am,
Yeah.
compared to him, I pulled out the pistol and I shot him. I mean, hey, fuck it, and I ran. They couldn't catch me, the cops. I turned myself in, but I said it was self defense, and I beat it out on self defense.
Good.
Yeah,
I remember. I
yeah.
remember, but I didn't know the details. I just know you lit a motherfucker up. They had it
Well,
coming.
hey, I've been surrounded back back then by the warlords over by Anderson School, which is another school now. Surrounded till I came out with a shotgun. Oh yeah, and literally they all ran, and I got
You know
away.
what? I always wanted to ask you. Now you mentioned that. What happened to that day that I was over there and fighting with the warlords and kings, and I got away from them. All of us got away. What happened when you because you came around the corner with Margarita, the baby, and Chrissy? What happened after that? That's why I always asked you. You remember?
Well, later on that night they tried to hit us, but it didn't happen. Because we already knew because of what happened earlier that they would be back around. We already know. Well, as gang members, that you're gonna get hit no matter what later on at night. But it just didn't happen.
Yeah, so what happened that time, we got into the car. I was with Chino and some Black Gangster Disciples. The Black Gangster Disciples wanted to open the trunk to put their fucking jacks and bats in there. And when that happened, Roach and them came out and started shooting. Chino had left the ignition open on his Malibu Chevelle and he turned the car on. We barely got away. Then that night I came back with the SDs. I can say their name because they're dead. Pete.
Uh,
Pete.
oh,
I came back
yeah.
with Pete and a carload of other ones. I ain't gonna mention the names because their names are they're alive. And we went over there by Iowa and Pat right next to the police station, Walcott. We caught
Uh-huh.
some of them there. We lit their motherfucking asses up, but we didn't hit none of them. I swear to God, that motherfucker was lucky, bro. Everybody in the car was shooting at him. Me, little Pete, and the driver and we just lit him up, and the motherfucker didn't get hit. We must have shot at him 20 times. I
Oh
emptied
my
my
God.
fucking clip on my gun. Right,
Oh,
right, a block away from the police station. Then to get away, we just drove right down to the police station and went down right next to the police station. You just went down Walton and got away like nothing.
for a little gang that the warlords were, they were pretty strong. I got to give them credit. Because back then, like I say, you know, you give props when it's due. Like I said, they were young, a lot of them, but they held theirs.
Yeah.
They hit us a few times. Like I said, they were the ones that killed one of the guys that died in my arms,
Who?
Mousy.
Oh, Rita, I didn't know you were there when that happened.
That was the day I was doing tattoos on the guys. We were on Ellen unit.
Oh, fuck. You know what? I never knew you were there. And Louis never told me. Tell me what happened that day when they killed
Well,
Mousy. That was New Year's.
yeah, we were doing tattoos, right? I had the tattoos on some of the guys,
That was on
right?
Allen Street by the Gangster Ellen Boy
Ellen,
Harrison Gents.
yeah. And then we were coming out the gangway. After we was done, it was already night, right? We were coming out, and that was already Warlord's neighborhood and shit, But some of the gents lived right there, Louis, Dean, they used to live right there. We were at their house, but as we were coming through the gangway, we heard the screech, and Mousy, I was in the front, and Mousy said, "Rita," and he grabbed me, threw me towards back way so we can run back down the gangway towards the alley, right? Because we were coming out the front. But as soon as he grabbed me and turned me around and shit, that's when he got hit, and I turned around and I grabbed him. It's fucked up. I mean, that's why I say, sometimes you just become numb to this, But I lost one too many of the guys, in the years. A lot
Yeah.
of them.
So according to I had the newspaper article. You still got it?
No, I don't. No.
Okay, it said that it was. Louis told me it was icy and you guys couldn't run or nothing.
No, we couldn't. That's why he grabbed me and we were trying to go back down the gangway towards the alley because we were coming out the gangway towards the front. But we heard the screech and that, we already knew because we've been in war with them for a while. They knew that Louis and Biting lived there. They knew that we would constantly go over there. So I guess they were just on spot or something, just watching.
Okay, so do you remember right before that there was a party at the Polish Armory and we got into it with the warlords there? A
Oh
wedding?
my God. Which time? Do you know how many times that we went to the Polish army and shit happened?
I'm talking about the time then, right before they killed Mousy, and Black Boy was there. Black Boy slapped that warlord in the face, and then they set us up. They came walking, and they tried to get us to follow them. And I yelled out, "Watch out! It's a trap!" And they came out shooting at us. I grabbed a lady that was pregnant and got her out the way. They almost shot me. The doors got the doors had bullet holes at that time. I went to look now recently. I don't know if I have to get up to see them. I don't know if they put the same doors on or they changed them. You remember that?
Slightly, slightly. I
Oh,
remember, because of some of the shit that happened, but I remember Black Boy, I think it was Little Johnny that he slapped in the face.
okay. Little Johnny from the Warlords?
Yep.
Then that's when it happened. That's the one.
Mm-hmm.
That's the time. So I knew you were there. I just couldn't remember. Listen, yeah,
And
that
I
was the
went
time. So right
to
after
all the
that,
parties.
huh?
I went to a lot of the parties. Every house party, every Erie house, every Polish army. I mean, Centrum. We were at all of them.
So right after that, I was over there where you were at with Louis, and I called it the fort because in the back they had that brick wall
Yeah.
that you could shoot over. And then what happened was the warlords came to the alley shooting, and we started shooting over that fucking wall like the motherfucking Alamo. I tell that in the story in the book. I was loving it though. It was straight motherfucking cowboy shit. We all had guns. Everybody. We went over that wall. Boom, biting, biting first. Boom, boom, boom. I climbed up there and started lighting them up too. They're shooting back. It was fucking crazy.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And then I went and after they killed Mousy, I went and pulled a whole bunch of hits on those motherfuckers. I was lighting them up. I was
The
lighting them
warlord,
up.
the warlords did not like me worth shit. They wanted me so bad. I don't know how many times they came out on me, but you know what? It one time I didn't have nothing on me, and I went to go pick up my cousins at the school. And when I went to the school to head to the
Anderson.
school and shit, one of the warlords spotted me. He
Anderson.
came back with a bunch of motherfuckers, and I'm like, oh shit! But I got away. I got in this lady's gangway, and I went in under her porch. She seen me, but she's like, she knew all them guys were behind me. I'll never forget because you could say she saved my life and shit, because they were like, did you see her? Well, which way she run? No, I don't know, and she told me just keep quiet. She wasn't gonna let them in, So I have
Right.
to say she saved me that time. That's why, the cops in the 13th district knew me as Gunner and Runner. Every
Yeah.
time they would see me, they would try to chase me. But being in the neighborhood, every gangway, which one you can get through and whatnot that these cops don't know. I used to get away from a lot of them, and by the time they caught me, I didn't have shit on me. Because a lot of times they would tell me, "Where's the guns, Rita?" I don't know. I don't know. Because most of the time, a lot of shit that I did, I like to do it alone due to the fact that if I did something, because I have a lot of shit that, like I say, I mean, maybe God's protected me or something, but the guys who tell me, Rita, I know you did it, Rita. I know, no, I didn't do nothing because nobody knew, and there's just certain things that I don't think, but it was not because I wanted to. It was a part of protection. It was
Mm-hmm.
either me or that person.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, even when the Milwaukee Kings had a hit out on me, you know, if it wasn't for one of them to pull me in the alley and tell me, man, Rita, we gotta take you out. I'm like, what? And that's when back then when the game when some of the folks were going against folks, so you know, it was just really messed up. And I told him why, and he told me, you know, the reason why, and to get back at someone in my family, they thought they were gonna hit me, but because I knew the MK so good, you know, and I was always there for them also, they're like, I can't do it, you know, I can't do it. But just be careful. We're letting you know there's a hit out on
Now, I remember I was there that day with Louis Resto when you came and you shot them all up on it. You shot them all up broad daylight on in their hood, Huron and Noble. Was that a part of that too? Because you lit them up.
you.
I was right behind you. I didn't have a gun. I had just got there. I didn't even know. I was just walking through there. So, but go
No,
ahead.
it was a whole different thing.
Okay.
It was a whole different thing. The MKs, even back then, one time he tried to come out and come at me and shit. I don't know why it was the guys. They had Milwaukee Queens too and shit, you know.
Yeah.
And I was with Black Pat, you know, Margarita. I think she was around. I'm not sure, but I know I had one of them on the floor, ready to pull out the esophagus, man. If it wasn't, yeah, it was Margarita that pulled me off. No, Rita, no, because it was just, you know, they wanted me so bad, but they knew I wasn't gonna run on them.
Right.
I wasn't gonna run. I was still walking through the neighborhoods. I didn't care. You know, if you want me that bad, then you know I'm here. But at the time they came at me and shit, I would defend myself. You know, and like I said, most of the time I carried with me because I knew it was either gonna be me or them. A lot of times
Right.
they did catch me up unarmed, you know, but I've always defended myself, you know, and I always felt like, hey, if you're a rat, you're caught up in the corner, you're gonna jump at a motherfucker. That's the way I felt. I'm a fight for my life.
Yeah, so with that war there, I got heavily involved too. But on the ones from the Milwaukee Kings from Pulaski Park, because we one day on Halloween, little Munchkin from the Black Gangster Disciples came over to the hood with about 20 black gangsters with a gun. I said, no, 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 this is Halloween. This is an egg fight. We don't use guns. So we went with eggs and we threw eggs at the Milwaukee Kings and hit one of them. So as we're leaving, this guy Lefty and this other kid, his brother-in-law, Birdie, come running up with a gun by the swimming pool on me. So I'm walking down Cleaver toward Division, and I stop and I told man that's not no fucking real gun. I go to grab the gun, the motherfucker fires a shot, it misses me, hits the tire, and ricochets back and hits fucking Birdie in the leg.
Wow.
Then they send two motherfuckers on the bikes when I'm walking down Noble because at that time, my wife, the mother of my son lived there on Noble and right by Pulaski Park. My uncle was the supervisor, Kelly, there. So I'm walking past, I get to fucking Noble Square. I notice two motherfuckers on bikes follow me. I let them pass. Sure enough, the motherfucker pull out guns, try to shoot me, but I fucking jumped over in front of the Virgin Mary in front of the church, and they got away. So I seen one of them in the joint, but I couldn't get to him. So yeah, I was in the war with them too. With that, we were fighting them too when all that shit happened. But I never had no problems with the ones over there on Huron.
You know the ones that came on Huron were the you could say the second generation.
Yeah.
You know, they were really cool with me.
Yeah, because Moonhead and Porkus and all those older guys, they know me, my uncles, my family. My Uncle Rat used to be with them in their house when he was young, eating. Their mother, the grandmother, used to feed everybody. Even up to my time, I would go up there to eat.
Shit, a lot of them were always real cool with me. You know, there's times
Hector, Boogie.
Yep. I
You
had that
know,
corner on Erie and
Chino,
Ashland. That was my moneymaker right there.
Hulk.
Right stuck. That was my spot. There would be times, that I'd run out of shit, and the guys would tell me, man, Rita, you think I can hold up this spot for a minute and shit? I need to make some money, and I know they come for you and shit. And I'm like, yeah, go ahead. I didn't have no problem and shit, but as long as they weren't over, like I tell them, don't be burning my customers. Don't be doing none of that shit, because this is why they come back.
Right.
Because they know despite of their choice in life, you know, I never treated them bad. Never. You can say even the prostitutes in the neighborhood, I remember protecting a lot of them due to the fact that, they're out there making their money, man. Let them be. Let them be. Don't touch them girls. Don't do none of that. I mean, money making back in them years was so much easier, and you know who to trust, and never got tricked on, never anything, a lot of guys used to come to me, for a lot of weight because they know that I knew where to get it and they only would fuck with me, so, hey, if they're making money, go ahead. I was never that type that got greedy. Nobody, I had the money to buy me cars. I had the money to do all that shit, but I never flaunted like that due to the fact that, when you start doing that is when you start getting caught up.
Do you remember? Do you remember when we used to be when we were on Bosworth and Division? Do you remember when the unknowns used to come through Nanoniva and they'd be on the corner of Bosworth and Blackhawk revving up their car and then they come through to do a hit on us?
Oh yeah.
You
Oh
were there
yeah.
that day.
Oh man.
Tell me because I remember that I was there. I know you were shooting at him. I was shooting at him. And Big Bill was shooting at him, and they were shooting out the cars. You tell
Oh
the
yeah.
version that you remember.
Shit, I just remember it that we were out there because remember when I used to live on Blackhawk and Ashland.
Yeah, next to the
Uh,
Dukes.
yeah, but when Dust was there, they knew that the guys used to be over there all the time. They knew where to find us. Put it that way. So Nano and Neva, I think they were brothers. I can't even remember,
Yeah,
but
they
I
were
know
brothers.
yeah, the motherfuckers were crazy too.
Oh
They
yeah.
would
Yeah.
come over there. They they would come over there and shit and try. They were brave because they start to shooting.
Yeah.
And they would literally come out there and start shit.
They'd let us know too, because they'd be in the corner revving up the car. Woom,
Yeah,
woom,
we're
woom.
here. Oh yeah. I wonder whatever happened to them guys.
I don't know. But do you know that? Do you remember then after that? Do you remember that they initiated this white boy? He was a UPK and they were covering up his tattoo. And Black Boy was there. I'm sure that you were there. Little Bear was there. Uh, and I had got a grenade from the Gaylords from Lane Tech. Do you remember when they made him throw that grenade behind there, behind the school
Oh my.
on Nano and Eva and them?
But they wasn't that when the grenade didn't go off?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So I know. That's what I say. It's in the book. It's just that a lot of people see some of like I know you real good, but there's stuff you did that I don't know. Look, I'm
Oh,
finding this out 40
yeah,
years later.
there's
So
a lot of shit, a lot of you know, like I hate to say, even sometimes when I get these members in my car, and I'm riding around, and if they got a cap on, you know what, tilt that shit right, when you're in my car, bro, because you know what, I know where I gotta go drop you off. I know what neighborhoods we're passing through, and
right.
I'm not about to get shot at in no damn car for you or nobody else. You hear me? And one time there was these three young guys in my car, and all of a sudden I heard the cock of a pistol, and I turned around. I looked at dude. I said, "You know what? You keep that shit down, bro, because I know what you're flagging. I know where you're going, and I'm gonna reroute your ass so you don't have to worry about it. But do me a favor, keep that shit down, because I'm telling you, anything happens, I'm not accountable for what's gonna happen afterwards.
Right.
And the guys looked at me. They're like, "Man, you know what? I'm sorry." I said, "Look, bro, I broke it down to him real quick. That you know what? Like I tell him, I'm not a regular Uber driver, man. I'm from the streets. I know the streets,
You
okay?
a hell no, you're not no regular Uber driver. I know that shit.
So don't do me like that because I ain't got time for this shit, you know." But I talked to one so bad. You know what? He looked at me. By the time he got out of the car, man, and I know a lot of these guys have some heart. A lot of these guys have no choice but to be in gangs, you know, or to join them because they got flat that, you know, they got marked or whatnot. But I had one of them guys tell me, he looked at me, he said, "You know what? I wish I had a mother like you. And I wish I could change." I said, "You know what? Don't ever wish that because you can do it. You can do it. Anything you set your mind to do, you can do it. You want to live, right?" And he's like, "Yeah." I said, "Well, you know what? You got to start looking at some of the things you do. Is it worth it? Is it not? You know what? You look like a very good person, man. Like you got this big heart. Unfortunately, you know, like we say, you know, some parents, they bring these kids into the world like that and teach them that, you know, and start degrading them and start treating them bad. But you know what? Don't cry about it later when you lose your child because that's your child. You know what? And and all kids are gonna make mistakes, but you have to make that choice to say, let me help him. Instead of pushing them away, instead of degrading them, instead of doing any of that, because you know what? A lot of them need their parents. And people can't tell me that they need a mother and a father. Because if I did this shit by myself, other mothers can do it too. Other fathers can do it too by themselves.
Give us that. So wrap this up. Give the parents, the mothers, and the fathers. Tell them what that Lincoln Challenge is about because I am familiar with it. That and with the you and with that other thing that you said. What was that? Job Corps. I've been there. I seen the kids change. Tell us about tell us about that program.
Okay, Lincoln's Challenge is out in Rantoul, Illinois. And you know what? You can apply for it online. If you see your kid going wrong and you're trying to save this child from getting a record, from joining gangs, from dealing drugs, from any of that, enroll him. Enroll him. They'll go away for a year, finish their education out there. You're able to visit. It's a military school that's teaching you discipline, teaching you to respect, teaching you to become, you know, a person to society, and to know that there's more things out there. And your education, without your education, you might not get nowhere. So you know what? There's programs. I think this challenge I've known to be the best program to help these kids. And you know what? It's okay. Your kid might hate you for the moment. Your kid might despise you. But later on, when they change their life, they're going to look back and say, thanks, Mom. Thanks, Dad. You know what? There is more things out here. Thanks for saving my life.
Yeah, so you know what? I'm going to tell you something. With the situation that I'm currently involved with in Chicago, in Holstein Park, with those kids, there's like a group of 20. And I was just informed now that over right now, this live thing, somebody told, I got people, there's a lot of people watching this, Rita, right now. A lot. Because this is live. A lot of people. And they asked for you from the last time. So there's got to be people that know us or whatever. I don't know who they are. But anyways, because so with these 20 kids supposed to be Spanish vice lord, actually what's happening is during a school that's real close by, there's a special school for kids that are supposed to be really, really bad. Now this school, what they do is they're not for profit. Of course, they're getting paid by the taxes. They got a lot of money that's coming from taxes and grants or whatever. And what they're doing is they got the kids in check there. And then their plan is once class is over, they send them to the park for 3 or 4 hours, 3 hours, until the parents come and pick them up, like a daycare. And what's going on is that they're so wild, they're just a quote unquote terrorizing the whole park, robbing people and threatening old ladies, body slamming people, riding, stealing, doing everything. Everything they done, they can't help them. They don't want to even deal with them. So when I said, okay, they got them.
I'm going to tell you something. These nonprofit organizations, they're good.
Yeah.
You know what's happening is that it takes a person. It takes a person that has went through life, has known, and not to judge a child, but to stand by them. And you know what? Because a lot of these people that want to help these kids have records and all of that, they're not giving them the opportunity. Do you know that a kid will listen to a person that's been through it more than a person that's reading it out of a book?
Thank you for confirming that, because I made that statement in the last video. Go ahead.
Yes, you know, it has to be someone, people that go in there to work with these kids, to know them, to be living proof, to show them, you know what? This is how it is. We all make mistakes. We're all going to go through things. But we're here to guide you through it. You know what? We see what you're doing. This is how we're going to change things. This is what we're going to work at. You know, these parents, you know, they have to put a lot of effort in it too. They can't depend on only that program. They have to, as soon as that child...
There you go, the parents too. They got to be involved.
Pick up your kid. Yeah, pick up your kid. You know what? Because it's not a babysitting center. You know what? And go take your child home and start putting your foot down, man. You know what? You got to start to, hey, I'm going here and there. Hey, oh, really? No, you're not. You know, I live in my house right now with deadbolts in the front door.
Right.
The back door. Okay? My windows are sealed shut. I shit you not. You think about sneaking out? Yeah, my kids tried it one time. All it took was one time. And I sat up there. I sealed everything. So there was no getting out. Because I'm in control in my house. They're not in control in my house. You know, and like I said, to the age 17, 18 years old, man, by law, those are your kids. You have to take control. You know, I'm tired of people talking about, oh, these kids, you know, they got a curfew law and this and that. You know what? These kids are going to continue to do what they're doing until these parents start saying, oh, yeah, you know what? I'm not going to get ticketed for you, and I'm not going to jail for you. So you're going to stay in the house, and you're going to be in till it's time to go to school. Because they're coming out with these curfew laws, and until you make these parents accountable for their kids, ain't shit going to happen.
Right. So my thing is this, check this out. From all of this, my guy's telling me, see, the guy's working there, he's not just no regular person. I'm going to tell you something. Dude actually was one of the main, he don't know this yet. Those kids are Spanish Spanish lords. This guy was an old school original Spanish lord back in the day. He's notorious, known, and he already told them, I probably know your parents. And if they're real, they come over and smack you. The parents are not showing them no love, and they show them everything negative. They show them how to disrespect the police. They show them everything. But the thing is this, after school, this school that they go to, a special school, and these people get all that money, the school itself, what it's doing is they're taking advantage of the park, sending them over there for the 3 hours because the parents don't get off of work into that time. Some of them, some are working and some are not. So they're going over to that park to raise hell and all that shit, tearing shit up. Any problem comes up, the parents are going over threatening the guy and the people, saying they're going to come shoot him and all this other shit. So I'm saying the school, I already set it up. I'm going to go talk to the people over there. And I'm going to tell them, you're getting all this money already. I'm going to look up, I'm going to investigate them. I'm going to find out because everything on them is public. I want to know how many staff they got there. I want to know how much they're getting paid. I want to know what money they're getting from who, how much, what's being allocated, what's going for the actual program, what's going to the for payment to the staff, and how much is left over because you guys got a school with a gym and showers and everything. And instead of sending those kids to the park, they can't deal with them. They should. You guys need to open it up here for those 3 hours for an after-school program where we could bring in people from Lincoln's Challenge to talk to them, from fucking the government shit, Job Corps, for people to talk to them about gang like me and you about the consequences of gangs.
Yeah.
And shit like that.
You know, and I hate to say, you know what, society I'm looking at has come to, everybody's looking to sue somebody. You know, a lot of it kills me that some of these gangbangers are out there, right? Gang banging, and when the police pull up on their ass, some of them are crying like little bitches. Fuck is wrong with you? You know what? You out there gang banging, bro. When these cops come at you and shit, deal with the fucking consequences. Stop crying like little girls.
You know, I seen a fucking video recently from the Gents in Cicero. This was a few back. They had brought these police from England, and they were with the detectives from Cicero, and they stopped the Gents, and the Gents were gripping like a motherfucker, bro. I'm like, what the fuck? Gripping, acting like straight motherfucking babies.
You know, and I think, you know, one thing I can say, that when it came to my kids, and even my grandkids now, I've never had a problem of these kids disrespecting a teacher. You know why? I tell them, when you go to school, you're going to listen, respect, do your work. You're going to do your work. And I'm going to tell you, I get one complaint from that teacher. I don't want no excuses or anything. I don't want to hear nothing, okay? Because if anything, the teacher is your second parent when I'm not around, and you're gonna respect that. Just like you sit up here and you respect when you're in the house and you're at home. I expect that from you. And you know what, man? Not for nothing, I get a lot of compliments from the teachers. You know how these kids are so respectful. And how they talk to people and whatnot. And I told them, listen, I may be who may have been, but you know, when it comes to respecting the elders, when it comes to respecting authorities, I do it. You know, I could be one to tell you, I didn't like cops before, but bet you as them cops stop me, it's going to be yes, ma'am, no, sir, you know, whatever. I'm not going to put on a show. Because like they say, when you start acting like an animal, you get caged like an animal. So you know what? Let them do their job. Let them, you know what? Evidently you got stopped for a reason. So even when I got stopped or whatever, I know I got stopped for a reason. Either I hit stop sign or, you know, I just look suspicious. I don't care. Just, you know, let them speak what they're going to say. Because you know, you hear a lot of people talk about F the police and F that. You know what? But what's gonna happen when something happens to somebody you love? Who's the first person you're gonna call? You're gonna call the police, right?
Right, exactly. That's what I'm trying to say.
Right.
And these are the gangbangers, the motherfuckers that say fuck the police. Now I'm not gonna say that. I say that too, but only with the fuckers that I know that are fucked up, and I report their asses. Like I'm doing right now.
That's one thing. What's right is right. What's wrong is wrong.
You gotta give respect first. I give them the respect. If I see they're on bullshit, they don't get no respect from me. So that's why I say fuck the police.
Yeah.
But other than that, no.
There's times you get one that'll sit up there and but I will fight it to the end. You know what? And beat it out because eventually, you know, like they say, they got everything on camera.
Yeah, those bitches will give you a false, or they'll arrest you falsely. I know. I know pricks like that. You gotta realize that. I had a situation like that I got it all recorded, and they even followed me and they kept me locked up in my house for 2 days They were out there for 2 days. They wanted to get in my house. I wouldn't let them in because they wanted a recording, a video recording that I got of Alderman Maldonado's staff attacking me inside this fucking alderman's office.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah, there's some jag-offs.
Yeah, you got the good and bad in everything. You know, in people, in police, in gangs.
And ourselves. In ourselves.
You know one thing I realized, Joey, that you know, is that some of the gang members, some of us, we got the biggest fucking hearts. Because I'm gonna tell you something. A homeless person can walk up to a gang member or something and ask him, "You got $1 you can spare?" And then he's gonna look to the church person and say, "You got $1 I can spare?" The church person's gonna look at him up and down and say, "Hell no, I ain't got nothing for you." While the gang member is gonna sit up there and give that $1. You know why? We know what it is to suffer. We know what it is to be without. We know what it is, you know, to be in the streets. You know, sometimes, like you say, it's not something that was instilled in us when we were little kids. We said, "Oh, we're gonna grow up and be gang members." No, we're not. Something happened in our life that we made that choice.
Yeah.
Okay. But deep inside, because to this day, I look out for a lot of people. To this day, I will give my last penny and be without to help somebody out. If somebody asks me for anything, I will go out of my way. And people tell me, "Rita, you got too big of a heart." You know what it is? It's because I know what it is to be out there. I know what it is to be homeless. I know what it is when your family turns their back on you. I know what it is. You know, like you say, you know, there's a friend of mine, you know, that knows me so well and knew the way my mom treated me. And he's shocked because he's like, "And you're there for your mom, huh? What about your brothers and sisters?" I said, "I don't know. You know, one of my brothers is out of state. One of my sisters is out of state. But I do have a brother and sister that are here. But they won't deal with it." So, you know what? Like I said, I don't know the reason why I'm here. Maybe it's because God knows that I'm here to take care of somebody or someone or to save somebody's life. And I won't know. I won't know because until that day happens, you know, even because I don't look at that right now, because a lot of people look at me and say, "Man, Rita, you do too much. You help too many people. You know, sometimes you gotta take time out for yourself." And I tell them, it's easier said than done, you know, because I just don't like to see nobody suffer. I don't like to see nobody go through shit. And you know what? When I first moved to this neighborhood in North Lawndale, when I first moved here, I'm gonna tell you something. I opened up a little candy shop at my house with nachos, juices, all kinds of shit. All the kids used to come over here. They call me Mama R on the block. They used to come and sit out in front with me because I used to talk to them about my life. You know what, Joey, man? I got to see a lot of these kids graduate out of high school and go off to college. You know, every time if some of the guys will pass by and pick up your pants, they will, "Sorry, Mama R," and they will pick up their pants. It's how you speak to them that you get that positive response back, that respect back. You know that when they want to talk, you're there. You know, at a time too, I bought a bunch of sports equipment, and I would take all these kids. I put up signs on the neighborhood. If you want to play basketball, kickball, volleyball, meet me at the park at 12 o'clock on Sunday. And do you know how many kids I would have there by myself? I'd have over 100 kids by myself. And believe it or not a fight, no cursing, no drop pants. I see a lot of the kids in the neighborhood today still, and they all look at me, "Hey, Mama R, you know, why you stop?" You know, and it's it was because of, you know, health issues that made it worse. But let me tell you something. I'm happy to see a lot of these kids make a lot of change in their life. And, and to respect. They have so much respect in how they speak to you and, when they're around you and everything. And even I had one, they called the Big Ten. And this guy, man, every time he would see me, he would give me this big hug. And one time I didn't see him for a while. And when I ran into him on Keeler and Cermak, and I went to the store there, and I said, "Where have you been?" And he told me, he said, "I'm embarrassed to tell you. I'm embarrassed." And I'm like, "What?" And he told me he went to jail. And I told him, "Why? Why?" And he goes, "I made a wrong decision." And I said, "Big Ten, you can change, okay?" He said, "I know, Mama R. I'm going to do my best, okay?" And you know what? He's been staying out of trouble ever since.
That's good,
So,
Rita. You got that black lot. I want to go over there. That's why I want to go over there. When I go come, you already know the details. I'm gonna when I'm coming. I don't want to say it over the public. That's my private business because I got a lot of enemies, Rita. And they right now that
yeah.
I called, made a complaint against the police. I'm gonna be getting calls, death threats from these motherfuckers because that's what happens. But anyways, because you know, like I said, I'm gonna do. I used to work for an organization over there, West Side Association for Community Action. I used to work at the juvenile courts with all those kids in that area too from North Lawndale.
Hmm.
So let's see what's up when I get over there. Let's hook up and take care of business. And also, I want to talk to you about doing some documentaries with some other people. I want to do one documentary that I'm gonna film with a lot of people on camera, and the ones that are not, do like I'm doing here, and show the neighborhood and tell the story. That so because I'm gonna pitch it to Vice News.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I'm
Okay.
here.
All right
Yeah.
then, Rita.
If anything helps these kids and some of these parents, son, because you know what? Despite of what we went through in life and how we lived our life, sometimes we have to put our kids first, and we gotta let them know, hey, we're there. You talk to me, no matter what's going on in your life. Talk to me. I'm not here to judge you. I'm not here to condemn you, man. I'm here to understand you and to guide you in the right direction. I can give you pros and cons of what's going to happen in the situation. And it's your choice to take it and run with it, or go ahead and just keep destroying your life. Either or. But I'm not one to just give up that easy, because if I've come this far, I continue to go further. And I don't let anything get me down despite of what I go through on a daily basis. But you know what? I don't take it out on nobody. I don't go out there and look at anybody no different. I mean, I got homeless people that say hello to me. Hey, how you doing? I say hi because they're just as smart too.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, some of us just, you know, been dealt the wrong card.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you you can make it. You can make it.
When you get dealt the wrong cards, you got to deal with what you got, and you're gonna. If you could trick them, you can beat them.
Yep. You know what I always say? Nothing beats a failure but a try.
Right.
You know, and
Mm-hmm.
and you know what? If one door closes, another one
That's
opens.
right. You got to make it open.
Going. I get job opportunities all over the place. You'd be surprised now. With so many things, but because my focus is right now working on a schedule that works around with my grandkids, because I take them to school, I pick them up, I do everything with them. And I tell you, I could be doing like a whole lot more, but you know what? I like working on my time due to the fact because I'm running around for my mother, my grandkids, myself, getting things situated. Helping my kids through a few of their problems and things like that. You know, unfortunately, my son don't want to talk to me right now due to the fact that he had an issue with my daughter, and he thinks I choose sides. I don't choose sides, bro. What's right is right, what's wrong is wrong. If you choose to sit in a pity pot, you go ahead, okay? But remember, I'm your mom. I still love you, and I'll always be there. When you want to come and talk to me, that's fine. I got the door open. I'm going to act like nothing ever happened. Because one thing I never do is throw shit in people's face. I never kick a dog when he's down. I don't do none of that shit. You know, I'm no better than anybody. I'm just Rita, and I'm going to continue to help those that need help, to be there for anyone that needs me to be there. You know, I don't let negativity in my life because I know what that causes. So, it's like sometimes you got to set your limits, you got to love from a distance. You got to do certain things like that.
Right.
With so much that went on in my life, and so much struggles, I almost lost my kids. I went through so much, been on the run, they're doing all kinds of shit, and I'm tired. It got to the point that I'm tired. You know what? Nobody has to go through this. Nobody. There's options. There is options. And you know what? If you need help, you need options. Hey, my doors are open. I will guide you the right way. And I will not sit up there and judge you. I will not sit up there and degrade you. I don't do none of that because something in our life has caused us to go the wrong way. And you know what? There comes a time that you want to go the right way. And don't ever let nobody tell you no difference. Don't ever let nobody tell you can't.
That's right.
Amount to anything.
Never.
Never. Because you know what? I've been told that all my life. And guess what? Like I said, I'm the only one with degrees in my family. The only one that literally has my family together, the ones that I keep close by me. My grandkids love me. You know what? And it's like, it's like, I cannot, I would not change nothing of me. You know what? The past has taught me to be the person I am today.
Yeah. Even the stuff that was the bad. Even the bad.
Forward.
Yeah. So, and there's another thing I've been running into people for all these years. I used to be one of them too. Oh, I can't get the job because I got a conviction, all this shit. So, like, between me and you, we showed different because, like, me and you got the same fucking record. We got escape. We got fucking attempt murders. And we still got the jobs. Like, when I had that and I went to school, you know what they told me? And I told my background. They told me, you're exactly the person we're looking for.
Yeah.
I was like, what? Get the fuck out of here. I couldn't believe it. That's when I became a counselor. And the judges knew my background, like Judge, damn, I keep forgetting her name, but she was, her father was at one time Judge Kelly. Her grandfather was the mayor of Chicago. She told me the same thing in the chambers when I introduced myself because I was handling the cases before her court for the juveniles.
Hey, if it wasn't for one of my old probation officers when I was ready to change my life, that I was on probation, if it wasn't for her to tell me all the time, Rita, you smart, man. You're really smart. You got a good head on your shoulders, man. And I know you can do something with your life. You're going to do. She always, no matter what, didn't judge me. She didn't do nothing. You know what? Just her encouragement. And just going to see her. I'd be so happy to go see her. Because she would always tell me all the time, give me positive things. Instead of treating me like I'm some fucking convict.
Yeah.
Like I'm someone from the street. She saw something in me that I didn't see. She brought it out in me. She did it. She helped me out through a lot. You know what? And I'll never, ever forget her. I remember after my probation was over that she gave me my certificate and all of that. I went and took her a big frame as a gift. And even though they're not supposed to accept gifts, and I told her, listen, just please take it, put it in your office. It was a serenity prayer.
Yeah, the serenity.
Big frame.
Yeah, the
And
serenity
it's
prayer.
that you always tell me I have to do something with my life and I'm going to do it. Thank you for standing at my side and not pushing me away, degrading me, or treating me any different because of who I was. Thank you for taking that time out, for talking with me, for letting me see things that I didn't see. You know, she was a great person. Great person. You know,
Yeah.
for people to say probation officer or cop or any of that,
Oh no, that's you know, I experienced the same thing, and like with me, that's how they look. I was working for the courts. I used to have to go pick them up in the houses. I used to have to deal with them, but the way I dealt with them was not the way that the other ones. I dealt with them like I was dumb. I told them right off the top, look, I'm not here to fuck around and try to get you locked up. I'm here to try to keep you from getting locked up. And whatever problems you got that you're on the run and they're looking for you because they were looking for them, the police, I'm gonna fix up. How you gonna fix it up? I'm gonna lie. Don't worry about it. I'm gonna lie to the judge. I would tell them the paperwork was all fucked up. You didn't know nothing. And they trust me. I went in front of the court with them, brought the kids. Judge reinstated the case. Kid walked out with me in bed. A couple of them. I got him out there, and then we started from you.
yeah, that's what I say. All it takes is a person that's went through some shit, that knows what life is, has overcome it, to help these kids, man. You
I
know
would go to
what?
their houses and meet their mothers.
Need to start servicing some of these people in these nonprofit organizations. They used to have a lot of open speakings, you know,
Yeah.
to talk to these kids. I did that in my neighborhood, and believe me, it's helped a lot of kids.
Mm-hmm.
It's helped a lot of kids, you know, and a lot of kids that I still get that respect from and everything, that I watch them, and you know they're so happy to see me. You know, it
Yeah.
takes that person to understand this child because we've been through it.
Right. Those
If you
kids, I'll
don't
tell you one thing.
understand, you didn't go through it, baby. What makes you think this child is gonna listen to you?
Right.
No, sometimes you know our parents. You know, one thing that parents don't like is when a child goes and talks to somebody else, but you don't know that that child trusts that other person.
Mm-hmm.
Child is looking for someone to hear them out. Let them. If you feel that person is helping them, let them. Let them. Don't feel insecure. Don't feel threatened by it. If anything, that person is helping your child. You know, these parents, a lot of them that I see, it kills me because I watch these kids disrespect, and I'll look and I'll say, excuse me, you know, can you not do that to your mom or your dad? And they won't respond back to me, but they'll stay like quiet, like, who the F is this lady? But I say it in a way that, think about your mom's feelings. Think about how she's feeling when you talk to her that way. You know, she's going to give you a negative response in return, and all it's going to keep doing is leading to
Asada to go. All right.
yeah.
No, no, no. Somebody just made a comment. Some guy named Masada to go. They say make more videos. Go ahead, Rita.
Yeah, and you know, you just got to reach out to these kids. You know, I mean, these parents, stop thinking and stop being afraid of these kids. You know, I'm gonna tell you something.
It's kind of hard. Let me see. Let me turn up this volume. Hold on.
You
Go ahead.
you remember when that law came out that if you put your hands on your child, the child can call the police and go to jail? It's the system's fault that these kids are the way they are. But you know what? I warned mine. When that law came out, I told them, I laughed, and I said, shit, if I ever have to put my hands on you like that and you call the police, do me a favor and call the ambulance right afterwards, because they're going to shovel your ass up off the floor. Don't play with me. By law, you are my child. I have to deal with you, not them. So get it through your head. So I never had to worry about that. If anything, because these parents are so threatened and worried about the kids calling the police. Well, you know what? Take my child. Do me a favor, straighten them up. Straighten them up. If I can't put them in detention, motherfucker gets picked up for curfew. I'm not going to get him out. He want to be sneaking at the house. He wants to be doing all this. Let them deal with the consequences, baby. Sometimes you got to let them stop. It's called tough love. Not turning your back on your kid. It's called tough love, baby. Because at the end of the day, you're saving your child. You're not turning your back on them and letting them do what you want like they're in control. You see these young girls out here? My goodness. Some of them don't even have clothes on. Are you kidding me? Who buys their clothes? The parents. Come on now. And then you wonder why these little girls are being disrespected. They're treated like shit because you allow them to dress like that. You allow them by buying them that stuff. Learn how to say no. Because you know what? You got to teach your child, hey, beauty's within the holder, baby. It's in the eyes of the beholder. And that's it. If someone's going to love you, they're going to love you for who you are, not how you look it, because they're only going to disrespect you.
Yeah.
You have these guys. My son could not wear any type of colors. It had to be all neutrals. Blue jeans, either khaki pants, white shirts, blue shirts, any type of color. Because all of a sudden you wear any type of color, you're going to get flagged as a gang member. Okay? There's so many little things out there that you can help your child with and make changes. Stop sitting up there and contributing to it. You got to help this child through it and let them know. You got a choice to live or to die. What do you choose?
Exactly.
I know one thing. I wanted to live. I wanted to live. And it takes a lot. It takes a lot of work, but you can do it. You can do it. These parents, these laws that they're coming up with, the state is ridiculous. The curfew law is not going to help until you start holding the parents accountable. A lot of these profit organizations, until you start utilizing people that actually make changes in their life in these places and showing them and where they can help these kids, things are going to change. So you need to start looking at things in another perspective, because you know what? With these laws that they're coming up with, talking about you can't put your hand on your child, baby, please. You know what? That's your child, and if your child disrespects you, you got a right to punish them. You got a right to take away their things. You got a right to keep them in the house, because at the end of the day, if anything happens, it's all gonna come down on that parent. All gonna come down on that parent. So you know what? In order to change things, you better start doing some things now. Now, we are losing too many kids to the street. It's a shame.
Mm-hmm.
A shame. So many kids out there, you see, oh my God. I just like, when I see some of this shit, I'm like, wow. And yeah, it comes from the parents. It comes from the parents because despite, like I say, despite of how you live your life, what you come from, or anything, it's your choice. You have that choice to raise your child the way you want them raised. Now, if you choose that to let that child follow in your steps, you're still effed up in the head. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
If you choose to guide that child in the right way, something is good in that heart. You care. You love your baby. You don't want them to go through. You probably didn't go through enough to know that you don't want your child to go through any of that. You know? So it's time this that part either should be monitored or closed down. Because if they're out there harming these people, or swipe up these kids, and let's see what these parents are gonna do. You know what? Because it's not okay for the parents to use a lot of these places as babysitter centers while they're out doing their thing, or while they're out working or anything. You think I don't want to work almost 10 hours a day? I can't do it though. I won't do it due to the fact that I'm monitoring mine at home, because I want to be there for them, because I can only work while they're in school. When they're on vacation, my hours are messed up because I can only work when I can get out there and I know my kids, my grandkids are in a safe spot, that I know that person either is not going to let them out in the street or any of that. They're monitored in a lot of things. My grandson asked me, and he's 12. He asked me, Grandma, why don't you ever let me sit in the car while you go in the gas station? I said, baby, because all it takes is a split second. And if I know what's going on in the street, why would I make an ignorant move like that? Do you think I want to walk out of a gas station and something happen to you? No. So I don't take chances. When it comes to their lives, I do not take chances. A lot of times driving down the street and somebody gets ignorant, man, I have to swallow my pride. Why? Because I've learned that right now, 95% of them people getting brave and bold and whatnot is because they carry a pistol with them. A pistol that they shouldn't. And they're shooting because they want to. Okay? And I don't plan on having my grandkids be a victim because I want to be ignorant. Sometimes you have to just swallow that pride and say, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. You know? You have to think about other people that can get hurt in your surroundings. I really don't get how could a parent ever live with losing a child. Man, I don't even like to think about it, because I think I would deteriorate. I would die. Because I would suffer. I would suffer. So in order to avoid that, I protect. I will protect mine. I'm not out there looking for problems or any of that. People don't even know about my past when they look at me till I tell them.
Yeah, you can't guess from you. I know that. Yeah. You never could guess back then either.
Yeah, you would never know. Not you. I've worked in accounting departments, in corporate. And one day I confided in my boss, and he looked at me and he said, "Nah."
Ain't nobody gonna believe the story. It's too incredible. But I know it's true. Yeah. So I know when we write your book, when your book comes out, it's gonna be good, because I'm gonna write that book for you. But listen, let me wrap this up. But I want you to say one last thing, Rita. And the question is this. The thing is, what can you tell any young lady right now, this 12, 13 or 14 that's in gangs or thinking about joining gangs? What is your message to them?
Baby, you know what's gonna happen? It's all cute and everything right now, but you gotta think about it, because you know what? You're gonna get older, you're gonna have kids, and you're not gonna want to lose your kids. You're not gonna want to go to jail, because if anything, when you do get arrested and you have a child, you're gonna be in the process of losing your child. That's not what you want. So you're young, you're beautiful, because every girl is beautiful, okay? I always say it. And you know what? If somebody's going to love you, they're going to love you for who you are. You don't have to be somebody to get any attention. You don't have to sit up there and to have certain friends. You got to be around certain people. No, no. You know what? You got to look at your future, and you're going to want a good future. You got to think up ahead of you. Just like I tell these young guys, did you forget you're out there doing all this shit and you're going to have kids one day, and you know karma? Karma is a strong word, baby. And when karma hits, it's going to hit hard. So you better think about that. Because it might not be you, it might be somebody you love. But you young girls out there, you know what? There's more things out there. There's beautiful things out there for you to do with your life and to keep smiles on your face and not let anything happen to you. Because you know what? Hey, you're a young lady. Act like one. Act like one.
Well, thanks, Rita. Listen, I'm going to give you a call later after this. Once this process, I'll send it to you, and you can call me back or I'll call you. And then, we're going to meet up in person real soon, okay?
Okay.
All right,
Okay.
Mamita. I'll talk to you. Thank you, Rita.
All right.
Okay.
Amor.
Bye. Amor.
Bye-bye.
All right, so that was the interview with little Rita. You guys got anything to say? Leave the message right there, bro. Because that's what I'm on.